Hello, this is a video explaining how to do the water sampling technique and use the app for the Gower water quality monitoring. So my name's Dawn Thomas. I've created the Padlet. So if you haven't seen the Padlet, it's what's on your screen at the moment. This has got all the information that you need in order to find the beaches, especially if you're doing it on a water quality, bathing quality beach, and also instructions on how to use the test and the equipment. Now, to get your kit, you need to contact Sarah Samuel from the Gower Society. So her contact details you should have in any emails, and it's also on the water instructions, which is the first link on the page. So if you go on the Padlet, you'll see you've got an explanation of the data that the equipment that you've got, and also how to get more. Because if you're taking samples regularly every week, you'll need to contact Sarah to get extra bottles because you've only got 6 bottles in your kit. Now I'm going to go through the app. So when you undertake the data collection, it's really important that you also undertake a survey, and this will provide us with additional data that we can then correlate with the data that comes back from the lab, so we can look at any conditions that create any issues in water quality. So for example, if there's been spills, or if the weather conditions or the state of the tide. So if you look on the Padlet and if you click on this app, you'll see that it leads you to a web page called Survey 123. Now, the best way to use the app is actually through an app, not through the website. So if you go on your phone, download Survey 123, or might be called ArcGIS Survey 123, download that, and you will get that on your phone. And there is a QR code, which you can, right, I'm going to send you that. And that QR code, I will put it onto the Padlet, and it will get you to the water quality monitoring survey for Gower, which we're using. So this is what you will see. Before you start this, when you start up the app, it will ask you if you want to log in. You don't need to log in. You don't have to put any personal details on. You just click on the bottom bit, which says no, just carry on without. Once you've set this up, you will not need to have Wi-Fi to fill in the details on it, apart from if you use the locational map. So you don't have to be on site to fill this in, but there might be information that you need to gather while you're on site taking the sample so that you can fill it in when you get back. So it's very straightforward. You just follow through the questions and you complete them on it. And then when you get to the end, you then send it when you've got Wi-Fi, and then it will send that information to me on a spreadsheet. Once your water quality data has come back from the lab, I would collate it with this data, put it on a spreadsheet, and that spreadsheet is at the bottom of the Padlet down here. So you'll see if I go on here, the water samples. So this is all the data that you are going to put onto the app. And then on the far right, we've got the data here, back from the lab. Okay, so make sure that you fill in as much as you can. But if you haven't got time for some reason, then it's okay, because you can always do this after the event. But also, if you miss things out, it doesn't matter. But the more data we have, the better. So from your beach, hopefully you've been allocated a beach and you've got a group of people who are working with you, so you don't have to do it every week. But the aim is to collect data from the beaches every week, and at a point of time which is a time that you can go to and is safe to do so as well. When you go to the beach, if you are using a bathing water quality site, which is one of the 8 that we've got on Gower, so if you've been allocated Oxwich, Bracelet Bay, Portyne, Limeslade, Caswell, Langland, Rossilly, and some Swansea Bays, then you will have a specific location to do your data collecting. So if you look on the Padlet, those beaches have each got individual websites. And if you click on that site, it will show you exactly where we would like you to take your sample. So this is Portyne. So if I scroll down, this blue blob here indicates the location where we want you to take your bather quality sample, if possible, if it's safe to do so as well. This is not a dot, this is a line. So anywhere from the land, or where the high tide mark is, down to low tide mark. So it doesn't matter the state of the tide. So if you go there at a different state of the tide, you can still access the water. So anywhere along that transect there is a good place to go if you're on a water quality beach. If you are not on a bathing water quality beach, then you can do it anywhere that's safe to go in on your beach, but please try and then repeat it at the same place, just so the data is robust. So once you've found your location, you can fill all this in after you've done the sampling, or some of it before you've done your sampling. Actually, all of it before you're doing sampling, really. First of all, put a name for your group, just in case there's an issue with your data and you want to change it or you want to tell me about it. Then you can then identify it when it comes onto the spreadsheet. This could be anything at all. You can make it up. You don't need any specifics, just something that you can use it to identify your sample. Then the beach that you're sampling it from. And if you are not sure if it's a water quality beach, then click on here. It's got the list there. But if you click on here, this will also take you to the website that shows you all the beaches with the bathing water quality. And you can look for that blue blob on the map. So to find out where you need to take your sample. This you'll probably only have to do the first time. And once you've done it, you will know where to go. Write the name of your beach so that I can then make sure I've got that on the spreadsheet and can look at it to look for trends. Then we've got 3 questions that ask the same thing. So we need to know exactly where you're sampling from on that beach. So if you think about Rossley Bay or Oxwich or Swansea Bay, there is a huge amount of areas where you could possibly be taking that data. So we've got 3 options, and I'd like you to fill in just at least one of these, and that will help with identifying it. We're using ArcGIS, which is a geographical information system, so that we can geo-link your data to an exact location. To do that, you need the map. So this is the 3rd question here. So this 3rd question, which says what exactly are you undertaking, where are you undertaking the sampling, will give you a map, and then you just click on a blob and it should actually get your location linked up directly. So it's very, very accurate. Some people are finding this is not working. So if this is not working, there are 2 other ways in which you can put your exact location. There is another app which people have got, but you can also use a web link, which is for what 3 words. So if you've got what 3 words for your exact location, you can put that in there, and I will then work out from that your exact location and put that onto the spreadsheet. Or you can use a grid reference. If you use what 3 words, the what 3 words will also give you a grid reference. So you can fill in both of those if you use what 3 words. If you haven't got what 3 words and you've got Google Maps, you can click on Google Maps, open it up, find the blue blob, which is where you are standing at that moment. Press the blue blob with your finger, hold it down, scroll down to the bottom where it says drop pin, and then it will have a number which looks something like 51 point lots of numbers -4 point lots of numbers. That is your grid reference. So cut and paste that and put it into that box. So I should have at least one method of identifying your exact location. You do not have to be standing in the water where you're collecting the data to get that exact location, but if you can be standing kind of opposite it, kind of close to the shore, that will help because we'll know the transects that you're working on. So doesn't have to be as far out in the water, but along that line is really useful. So don't fill in this while you're sitting in a cafe. We do want to know exactly on the beach where you were. Next, important data, which you will also be writing onto the sheet that accompanies the sample that goes with to the lab, is the date and time. Please be as precise as you can. If you're using the app, if you do it at that moment in time, it will upload the date and time. You just click now. If not, adjust the date and time so that it actually fits in with when you did it. The rest is just extra contextual data to help us to try and look for trends. So is there any dogs on your beach? Just so we can see if there's a trend there. All of these contextual data has all been information that NRW has said that's been useful for us to use to look for correlations. So anything extra is a bonus, but if you haven't got time to fill in any more of this, I can probably work out most of it, especially things like the tide. But don't worry if you haven't got time or you haven't filled in anything. Evidence of algal scum, if you can see anything on the surface of the water or in the water, don't worry too much about on the rocks or further away from the beach. It's actually in the water. Take a photo and it will just drop it in there. If you're not sure, take a photo. We can always discard it. State of the tide, we need to know if it's a high tide, low tide, if it's going out or if it's going in. Now, it doesn't mean you have to be able to read a tide table, because if you click on here, you'll see this website come out. you'll place your name of your beach at the top here. So at the top here, we've got Swansea, but you could then change the location down to a specific beach, down to Portainen or Oxwich or whatever. And then look at this box here. You're looking at this red circle. And so this is a rising tide because it's going up, the arrow's going up. If it was a falling tide, the arrow would be going down. If it was high tide, it would say 0, or low tide, it would say 6 hours. So you can use that information to fill in the information on the tide. You do not have to necessarily understand tide tables. We want to try and make this as easy and accessible as possible. Next, the weather, which of course impacts the water quality. So we need to know what the weather is like when you're standing on the beach or in the water. So just choose from one of these or two of these, which relates to what the weather's like at that moment in time. And then what's the weather been like in the last 48 hours? So if you're not sure, if you haven't been there for the last 48 hours, you can actually click on the link there and it will tell you past weather for Gower. It won't get you any more specific than Gower, but so if you're not sure if it's a microclimate area, you might have to ask somebody. But if you look back in time, you can see what the weather has been like, whether it's been rainy or whether it's been if it's been windy. But the rain is really all we want. Has it rained? Has it not? And if you're not sure for the last 48 hours, if you want to leave it blank, I can always look it up on the website. Next, we want to know if there's been any alerts by Welsh Water for overflows, for storm overflows. So the storm overflows are a way in which sewage could get into our waterways. So if you again look at the link which is in the question, Welsh Water has got this storm overflow map. So if you scroll down, you'll have to scroll in to Gower, and then it will show you some areas. So say you're looking at Oxwich Beach. If you click and there you go, there is no alert there. It's been very dry, so I doubt there's any alerts at the moment at all. So this one, Caswell, overflow not operating. Last time there was an event was the 31st of October. So, and it is up to date. Yes, because it was but last refreshed today. But don't worry about it if it's got it and it's last month. So on the app, when you look at that detail, so look at the triangles and see when there was the last time there was an event. If you then look, we've got 4 options. Was it in the last 24 hours, 48 hours, last week, or not in the last week? So if it's any further back than that, then don't put anything on there. Don't even tell us about it. We've got to try and be precise. And then lastly, the last 2 ones are to basically have a copy of what you've sent in the post to the lab. So when you get your water bottles have on the side of them a barcode. And that barcode, once you've filled it in, so at the top it says, if I show you this information is on this part of the Padlet. So down here, we can see on the water sample bottle, you've got the date and the time. So you need to write that on the water bottle. And it says temperature. Don't worry about that. Don't fill that in. It says type of sample, quality. This information doesn't actually relate to anything. I don't know why they asked for it, but maybe it's just to relate it to their sample. Type of water, seawater, and reason, write sewage, and then sign it. And then take a photo of it and upload it here. And the barcode, if you write the barcode here as well, and then that information will be available so I can relate that to the sample. And then if there's any other observations, anything visible, smell, evidence of pollution, anything you see specific, add that there. Then click submit. If you haven't got Wi-Fi, it will store it on your phone until you have, and then it'll ask you to submit it again. If you have, it will upload it, and then it will come to me, and I will then relate it to the data from the lab. Now, that is the stuff you need to do on the app. In terms of collecting the water, there's instructions on this document here about how we do it, but we've slightly adapted it because if you look at the video, which is the next one here, so that's the water bottle, you can see there's the barcode, you're going to photocopy that. Now, this video, if you watch it, which is useful, she's got a pole with a metal container at the end. So this is for measuring and collecting water in rivers. And you're not doing rivers, so it's not really relevant. So you will not have a pole or a container. What you're going to do is you're going to collect water from the sea. And if you go to this video here from NRW, you will see Hamish doing the data collecting, and he wades out into the sea, and he wades out to about a meter. Here we go. So he wades out to about a meter in depth. You don't have to go any deeper than that. And then you need to get your water bottle in 30 centimeters depth of water. Now, you're not going to have a pole. So 30 centimeters deep. If you take the bottle, take the lid off, should have had the bottle, turn it upside down, put that underwater. It will not fill with water as you're putting it down. Get it so that your arm is underwater. That's about 30 centimeters, well, it is for me, until your arm is submerged and the bottle is now inverted under the water. Then turn it upright. It will start to fill. You'll see bubbles come out. Keep following the bubbles until the bubbles stop. Then lift it out of the water. You'll see a line on the bottle that says where you're going to fill it to. It's the very top line, so you have a little bit more space of air so that the colonies there can still stay alive. Then put the lid on, and then that's your sample. So if you watch the video with Hamish doing it, you can see he's doing it, inverting it, turning it up the other way. Once it's full of water, the air's all out, you can then check to make sure it's all right and then put the lid back on. You're going to basically do that, but without the pole. Okay, so if you want to see how it's done, watch the videos. And then once you've done that, what you need to do next is explained in this document, but it's also on the video here, because you've got your sample, you've put the lid on. Don't worry about all of this about cleaning and stuff. We're not doing any of that because that's all to do with using the metal container. So we're bypassing all the need for making it sterile because it comes sterile as well. You can put gloves on. You've got gloves in your pack. But if you're in the sea and you're surfing or swimming and you've got swim gloves, that's fine. The contamination, you're going to hold the outside of the bottle. We're reducing contamination because we're not transferring from one container to another, but putting it straight into the bottle. And you probably see that Hamish in the NRW is not using gloves. So it's not about you're contaminating. But do make sure that you only open your bottle as soon as you're ready to take your sample. Don't open it on the beach and then walk into the beach. Open it when you're in the water, then take it in. Then once you've got your sample, so all of this is not relevant to us. So once you've got your sample here, take your photo of the barcode. You can see there's a bit of a gap there that she's left, and then you're going to send it to the lab. And to do that, once there you can go, you can see she's saying at the top where the fill line is. So that's as high as you want to sell it. So you need to pour out some if you fill it underwater. Then once you've filled it up, you're going to fill in the details on the label. And then you're going to place it into a plastic bag. There's a plastic bag, see-through one, in your pack. You then place it into a manila bag, so a posting bag. And that posting bag is then being sent to the lab. So we've got paid for postage labels. If you can't find them, look in your pack. So you've got a insulated bag. There's a little zip pocket sometimes. So look in there in an envelope if you can't find your labels. Stick that onto your sample pack. And then you need to fill in a water sampling sheet. So you'll find this sheet. I think is it the wrong way around? No, where is it? So you'll find this sheet, sorry, it's sideways. In your pack, you'll find 6 of them, one for each bottle. You need to fill in the company name, that's Gower Society, your order number, again, Gower Society is fine. Site reference, so write your beach, write the date and the sample, your initials or something like that, and the sample date there. And you will then tick what boxes are being measured for. The new sheets don't have any options here, so you know you've got coliform, Escherichia coli, and Entecocci. So those are going to be pre-filled in. One sheet per bottle. Put that sheet, once you've filled it in the bag with the sample bottle, and then send it off. So you go to your local post office to have it sent off. That's the easiest way. And we highly recommend that you take your sample from Monday to Thursday, because you need to keep it cool before you send it. So if you've taken it straight out the sea and you put it into your envelope and then you with the sheet and you put it in the post, that's fine. If not, you will need to either use a cool bag if it's very warm and you've got a cool bag with you for the sample kit, or keep it in the fridge overnight if you're going to send it off the next day. If you are doing sampling on a weekend, either a Sunday or a Saturday, you won't be able to send it really, so you need to keep it in the fridge until Monday. So really Monday to Thursday for sending your samples, and therefore if you can sample during those days, it would be much better. Once that's been sent off, it will go to the lab. The lab will then send me, they send the details to the Gower Society, they send them to me, and I'm putting the data onto this spreadsheet here, which will then be uploaded every time I get data or when I can. And what we're looking for is how many colonies, units. And so far it's all been under 10, which is amazing, because anything under 100 is excellent. But at the moment, it's been very good weather, and this is becoming a really good baseline for us. So what we need from you is for you to coordinate yourselves into your groups for your different beaches. If you've got a beach that hasn't got a group, then if at all possible, can we get you to monitor once a week from the same place at any time of the day, any time of the week, any time of the tide, just make sure it's safe for you. If you've got more than one person, please coordinate with your group so that you can have responsibility across them. So not one person has to do it throughout there. And we're trying to do from the, from now, but it was from the 30th of September, but from now till the 25th of May, because that's the cold water season. That's when they don't do any collecting of bathing quality data. If you need any more information, you can contact me on the Padlet. You can write comments on that, or you can try and find me on Facebook, or my email address is dawn@reynoldston.com. And if you need any extra equipment or any equipment at all, look on the water instructions for Sarah's contact details. Hopefully that's answered all of your questions. If not, please contact me and I'll be able to help you with any problems. Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for volunteering.